With 64,000 examples of the Tesla Model 3 sold in Europe so far in 2024, there is no denying how successful it is. While the Model S introduced us to Tesla's pioneering ways in the early 2010s, it was the Model 3 that showcased the American firm's potential and became a global bestseller thanks to its range, efficiency and practicality. But since the current generation of Model 3 was introduced towards the end of 2023 with a refreshed exterior and interior look and more electric range, its rivals have become more efficient and competitive. With that in mind, what is it that makes the Model 3 shine, and where does it fall short of the mark? Let's find out. Its range is still one of the best in class for the electric saloon segment. The previous generation car impressed us with its 374-mile range, but after Tesla fettled the battery and motor for this generation, the long-range model can now travel up to 390 miles on a single charge. Opt for the smaller 18-inch wheels and Tesla claims the Model 3 can travel up to a whopping 421 miles between charges, which is as good, if not better, than many cars with a combustion engine. The indicators are annoying to use on the move. For this generation of Model 3, Tesla decided to remove the stalks from behind the steering wheel and add buttons for the indicators instead. What makes things worse is that they're not actually physical buttons. They are haptic, touch-sensitive buttons positioned one above the other on the left-hand side of the wheel. This means you have to look at the wheel every time you want to indicate, and because of how they're positioned it's much harder to use on roundabouts. We assume Tesla did this to make the cabin appear more minimalist, but indicator stalks are pretty well hidden anyway, and what we have instead is an ill-informed solution to a problem that didn't ever exist. It has the agility and handling to match its searing performance. The steering is quick, which means there's a good level of bite from the front wheels when you turn into a corner. The Model 3 is quite sensitive to steering inputs, but it changes direction faster than a BMW i4, which makes it engaging and fun to drive. Despite changes to the car's suspension for this generation, it doesn't isolate bumps and road imperfections as well as some rivals. The Model 3's firmer suspension setup makes it more fun on a B road, but this is at a cost of ride comfort, with the body unsettled by rougher road surfaces. It has savage acceleration that can't fail to put a smile on your face and that of your passengers, especially on the performance models. The new Model 3 Performance, which gets a 453 bhp dual-motor powertrain, can sprint from 0-60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds. That's the same as a Ferrari 296 GTB, which has 819 bhp. The autopilot function isn't quite up to the mark, but it has improved over the version you got in the previous car. The system requires you to have your hands on the wheel at all times, but even the merest of inputs can deactivate the autopilot function altogether. It can be struck dumb by the presence of the cars, causing the car to move around in its lane, and when you want to take back control of the car, there is little warning from the system. Buying a Model 3 gives you access to one of its greatest assets, the Tesla Supercharger network. The firm's dedicated charging stations are fast, frequent and generally reliable, which means owners can undertake long-distance journeys knowing that if they need to charge up on the way, they can top it up easily and efficiently. There are far too many functions within the touchscreen, and trying to operate the tablet-like infotainment display on the move is a challenge. In fairness, the screen is large and well laid out, but some extra buttons or stalks for things like the wipers would make life so much easier when driving. The firm has made improvements with regard to rolling refinement. Tesla has fitted acoustic glass, quieter tires and revised rubber suspension bushes over the years, which have helped to lessen road and wind roar. All in, this car is much quieter than its predecessor and many of its competitors at higher speeds, such as the Cupra Born. Is there a car coming? Isn't there a car coming? Or, perhaps more worryingly, a bike or pedestrian. For some drivers, the front pillars on the Model 3 make for some very interesting departures from junctions. We shuffle forward, we crane back, and sometimes we open the window and stick our head out just to be sure. Cameras make parking a doddle, but they don't help when you're pulling out of junctions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.